We love the college football conversation with Steve Deace from Michigan Podcast. So we encourage you to head on over there, check out his platform right here on YouTube, Michigan Podcast, and on your favorite audio platform. We're through 2 weeks, Steve. Good to see you. And the college football has been mighty interesting, and possibly some openings for some teams that we didn't necessarily see drifting into the college football playoff conversation. Maybe the most impactful game that had to put maybe a bit of a smirk on your face occurred in the Horseshoe in Columbus this past weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to make of it other than through 2 weeks, we have seen Ohio State just cannot, on the defensive end, stand up at the point of attack. And I'm not sure how much of that is personnel, how much of it is scheme. I mean, the Buckeyes had their worst scoring defense in school history last year, but a lot of that was because of a porous secondary, as we saw in the national championship game, or really because of a base defense and putting a linebacker on Devontae Smith for 60 minutes. In this case, though, it's, I think, more worrisome because the weakness that Ohio State showed defensively a year ago, Mark, there's just not a lot of teams in our league that are really built to exploit that, particularly at a pace that complements what Ohio State offensively is going to do to their defense. I mean, keep in mind, Ohio State played a team that's ranked now in the top 5 with a kid playing his second college football game ever and had 612 yards and 31 first downs. Okay. So, they are going to put an enormous amount of pressure on your defense. But this time with the not being able to stand up at the point of attack, there are a lot of teams in our league that can play a game like what Oregon just played. They may not be able to play it as well, okay? But this is a league that is built at the point of attack and has been all of you and I's combined lifetimes. So if we're now in a situation where you can so limit possessions that instead of having to score 42 against Ohio State, you have to score 28 or 31, because of what you can do to gash them at the point of attack. Well, I do think that opens up the possibility for at least a few teams in our conference that, until we learned this the last 2 weeks about Ohio State, probably we didn't think that they had much of a shot. And we probably thought it was a debate between Ohio State and Clemson as far as who had the bigger, overall advantage in their league. So I think that is something to watch. And really, Kirk Herbstreit called this before the start of the season. He's been dead nuts. There is a regression to the mean. I say this as a guy that does handicapping. I know you do too. There has definitely been a regression to the mean for defenses so far this season. No question. That Georgia-Clemson game, of course, is probably the ultimate example. But overall, there has been a regression to the mean with defenses. They certainly have responded after getting an entire offseason prepared that they did not get last year. And you saw that in the NFL yesterday, too. Remember how high scoring? I think last year set the all-time record for average combined total in NFL games. I mean, it was down across the board in the NFL. So, again, now teams have mini camps, things of that preseason games. And I think that you are seeing a regression to the mean on the defensive side of the ball.